In the quiet town of Eldridge, nestled between mountains and forests, lived a young man named Alex. He was an ordinary person, known for his kindness and unwavering loyalty to his friends. But beneath his calm exterior lay a burning ambition to become something greater. He dreamed of making a difference in the world, of being remembered for his contributions, not just as another face in the crowd. However, fate had other plans for him. One fateful evening, Alex was walking home from his job at the local library when he stumbled upon a group of scientists conducting a secret experiment in an abandoned warehouse. Curiosity got the better of him, and he crept closer to the building, peering through a cracked window. Inside, he saw them working on something that looked like a machine, surrounded by strange vials filled with glowing liquids. They were discussing the potential of their creation to enhance human abilities, to push the boundaries of what it meant to be human. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from within the warehouse, and Alex's heart raced. He knew he shouldn't be there, but something compelled him to stay. He watched as one of the scientists accidentally triggered the machine, causing a massive explosion that sent debris flying everywhere. In the chaos, Alex rushed inside to help, but as he did, a wave of energy surged through the room, engulfing him in a blinding light. When the dust settled, Alex found himself lying on the ground, his body aching and his mind foggy. As he tried to stand, he felt different. Stronger, faster, more alive than ever before. Confused and frightened, he stumbled out of the warehouse, unaware of the transformation that had just taken place. Over the next few days, Alex began to notice changes in himself. His senses heightened. He could hear whispers from blocks away and see details he had never noticed before. He felt powerful, but with that power came a sense of isolation. The people he once called friends began to distance themselves from him, sensing something was different about him. They whispered behind his back, their fearful glances piercing through him like daggers. The very thing that had once made him feel alive now felt like a curse. He was no longer Alex, the kind-hearted librarian. He was becoming a monster in their eyes. As the days turned into weeks, Alex struggled to control his newfound abilities. He discovered that he could manipulate shadows, bending them to his will, and even instilling fear in those who crossed his path. The power surged within him, intoxicating and overwhelming. He began to embrace his darker side, relishing the fear he could instill in others. The townspeople's fear only fueled his transformation into the very monster they believed him to be. Driven by a desire for revenge against those who had wronged him, Alex started to track down the scientists responsible for his transformation. He wanted answers, but more than that, he wanted them to feel the fear he had experienced. One by one, he hunted them down, using his powers to instill terror in their hearts. Each encounter was a twisted game of cat and mouse, with Alex reveling in the chaos he created. His first target was Dr. Harris, the lead scientist who had orchestrated the experiment. Alex found him in a high-rise office, surrounded by accolades and awards. The moment he stepped into the room, the air thickened with dread. Dr. Harris looked up, his eyes widening in horror as he recognized the figure before him. "What have you become?" he stammered, backing away. "I am what you made me," Alex replied, his voice low and menacing. "You thought you could play God and not face the consequences." As he advanced, shadows danced around him, and Dr. Harris's fear became palpable. The once confident scientist crumbled under the weight of his own hubris, begging for mercy. But Alex had no intention of showing any. In that moment, he realized the power he wielded was intoxicating, and he reveled in it. The thrill of vengeance coursed through him as he watched the light fade from Dr. Harris's eyes. With each act of vengeance, Alex felt both empowered and hollow. He was becoming a legend in Eldridge, a figure whispered about in fear. But the more he embraced his monstrous identity, the more he lost sight of who he once was. Memories of laughter with friends, of simple joys, faded into the background, replaced by a relentless hunger for revenge. Yet, amidst the darkness, a flicker of humanity remained. One night, as he stood atop a building overlooking the town, he saw a group of children playing in the park below. Their laughter echoed through the night, a reminder of the innocence he had lost. For a brief moment, he hesitated, torn between the monster he had become and the man he once was. Could he ever find redemption? Or was he destined to be a monster forever? As he grappled with these thoughts, he was approached by a figure cloaked in shadows. It was Mia, a childhood friend who had always believed in him. "Alex, is that you?" she called out, her voice trembling. "I've been searching for you." Her presence stirred something deep within him, a longing for connection, for understanding. But he feared what he had become. "You shouldn't be here, Mia. I'm not the person you knew," he warned, his voice heavy with sorrow. "I don't care what you've become," she replied, stepping closer. "I care about you. You're still in there, I know it." Her words pierced through the darkness that enveloped him, igniting a flicker of hope. But the monster within him roared in defiance, urging him to push her away. "You don't understand. I'm dangerous," he said, his voice laced with anguish. "I don't care. You're still my friend," she insisted, reaching out to touch his arm. In that moment, Alex felt the warmth of her hand, a reminder of the love and friendship he had abandoned. It was a lifeline thrown into the abyss of his despair. But the shadows whispered to him, urging him to embrace the darkness fully. "You can't save me, Mia. I've gone too far," he said, stepping back, the internal struggle raging within him. "Maybe you can't save yourself, but I can help you," she replied, her eyes filled with determination. "You don't have to be this monster. You can fight it." Her unwavering belief in him sparked a battle within his heart. Could he truly escape the monster he had become? As he wrestled with his identity, he realized that vengeance had consumed him, and the path he was on would only lead to destruction. In the days that followed, Alex faced a choice: to continue down the path of vengeance or to seek redemption. He began to confront the consequences of his actions, seeking out those he had wronged, including the families of the scientists he had killed. Each encounter was a painful reminder of the monster he had become, but it was also a chance for healing. He found himself standing before the family of Dr. Harris, their grief palpable. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice breaking. "I didn't mean for it to end this way." The widow looked at him with a mix of sorrow and anger, but there was also a hint of understanding. "You're not the only one who has lost someone," she replied, her voice trembling. "We all suffer." Through these encounters, Alex began to understand the true cost of his actions. The fear he had instilled in others mirrored the fear he felt within himself. He had become a monster, yes, but he could also choose to be something more. With Mia by his side, he embarked on a journey of redemption, seeking to make amends for the pain he had caused. As he worked to rebuild the relationships he had destroyed, Alex discovered that true strength lay not in power or fear, but in vulnerability and compassion. He learned to embrace his past while forging a new path forward, one that allowed him to reclaim his humanity. In time, the town of Eldridge began to see him not as a monster, but as a man striving for redemption. The whispers of fear faded, replaced by stories of a hero who had faced his demons and emerged stronger. Alex had transformed once again, not into the monster he had feared, but into a symbol of hope and resilience. Ultimately, he realized that while they had made him a monster, he had the power to redefine himself. He would not be defined by his past, but by the choices he made moving forward. And as he stood in the park, watching the children play, he smiled, knowing that he had finally found peace within himself.